NBC10 political commentator Sue O'Connell is joining us right now. Sue, let's talk about Boston City Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson, who we've been reporting all day is now facing 6 federal charges, all related to fraud. You live in the city. I believe Fernandes Anderson is your councilor.
She is indeed.
She's denying any wrongdoing here. What's your read? What's your take on the situation?
Well, first, Colton, I want to acknowledge that Boston City Hall and government is filled with family members and friends of friends and supporters of officials who, in the great tradition of hackery everywhere, have jobs that are a direct result of their relationship or support of someone. But the key to being a successful hack is to do it legally. And the allegations here obviously are deeply disappointing, especially since, for the most part, the Boston City Council has made progress this year in actually doing its work and not dealing with allegations of wrongdoing. Look, I'm sympathetic to Councilor Fernandes Anderson's financial woes, but her arrest detracts from the important work that Boston City councilors have in front of them, and it further hurts public trust in government.
Well, Mayor Wu calling on Fernandes Anderson to resign. She released a statement earlier today. Do you think that that's likely? Why or why not?
Look, it's a big deal that Wu is calling for the resignation because Wu didn't call for the resignations of other embattled councilors last year, Kendra Lara and Ricardo Arroyo. Now, granted, it was an election year, but now Wu is acting decisively and swiftly. And as to whether Fernandes Anderson will resign, I think that's unlikely unless her constituents put pressure on her. Look, she does have an election next year. She already has one challenger, Said Ahmed, and I've talked to a few people who are considering a run for the seat.
All right, I want to switch gears and talk about something else. I want to talk about the murder of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. He was shot on Wednesday down in Manhattan in New York City by a man who is yet to be captured. There's a lot of questions remaining here, a lot we still don't know, but if you spent any time on social media the day of the shooting or the last few days after, it is clear that many Americans hold a lot of anger toward the healthcare industry. I was reading earlier, Massachusetts is the second most expensive state for healthcare premiums right now. How do you fix an industry that is so broken? People feel inclined to celebrate a homicide.
Yeah, Colton, look, as the parent of a child who has had multiple chronic and hard-to-diagnose illnesses for 15 years, right now I have an $11,000 bill, which I'm hoping gets reduced as we go through the appeal process with our insurer. I absolutely appreciate the expression of frustration, but I wish people weren't ghouls about it. I don't think there's a fix for the private healthcare system. It's a business, and its job is to make money. And it's a low-margin business, meaning they have to fight for every dollar that they make, and that's often at our expense. Washington should pay attention to this reaction. I checked the feeds of a number of those people who were celebrating this murder, and they weren't trolls or haters. That anger could be harnessed, and it could actually fuel efforts again for maybe something like Medicare for all, like Senator Bernie Sanders has advocated for.
It is truly a really interesting conversation around this. Sue, thank you, as always. And a quick mention, everyone, that this Sunday on Meet the Press, President-elect Donald Trump is sitting down exclusively with Kristen Welker. He talks about his plans for the first few weeks of office and his cabinet nominations. The first look will air tonight on NBC Nightly News, and then the full interview will be Sunday on Meet the Press.